In this video, I'm going to talk about classifying and measuring angles. There are four main types of angles. We'll talk about what they are. First, let's talk about this symbol. In the last video, we introduced the angle symbol. If I put a little m in front of it, we read that as the measurement of an angle. And then you can name the angle right next to it. We'll talk about that with more specific examples. An angle is measured in degrees. It's just our unit of measurement. Later on, you may find that you're measuring angles using radians, but that's not covered in this video. Pretend to use a protractor to measure an angle. An angle that measures less than 90 degrees on a protractor is defined as an acute angle. This specific angle we could measure when an angle opens to the left. We're measuring the opening on the left side. So it's talking about the opening of the angle. An angle that measures 0 degrees is like two rays laying on top of each other. And then once that second ray starts to open up, then we can measure the opening. So if we count from 0 and just look on our protractor all the way up to the next ray or the second ray, then we can find the measuring of that opening to be 50 degrees. Notice how the protractor has two types of measurements. There's measurements on the outside sometimes and measurements on the inside. So it depends on which way your angle is facing. So because this is facing to the left, I want to use the values that start at 0, and that would be the left side of the protractor. And so that's why we're using the outside numbers. To contrast that, this angle is opening to the right. So because the outer numbers start at 180 on the right, I don't want to use that. I want to use the inside numbers that start at 0. We want to start at 0. So be careful and measure starting at 0, either using the inside or outside numbers. So now I'm using the inside numbers, and this second ray opened up and it passed 90, and it went over to about 126, maybe 127. So I can say the measurement of this angle is 126 degrees. An angle that measures more than 90 degrees or is greater than 90 degrees is defined as an obtuse angle. So acute is less than 90, obtuse is greater than 90. What happens when it's exactly 90? That's the definition of a right angle. A right angle measures exactly 90. So it can't be a little bit more or a little bit less. 89.9 is still acute, and 90.1 is obtuse. So if it measures exactly 90 degrees, we call it a right angle. It's also a special symbol for a right angle. You may see like a square or a box in the corner, and that symbolizes 90 degrees every time. If an opening measures all the way across the protractor to the other side, it measures 180 degrees. You may think that this looks just like a line, and you would be correct because a line and a straight angle are essentially the same thing. A line measures 180 degrees. A straight angle measures 180 degrees. A straight angle is created when that second ray goes off in exactly the opposite direction of the first ray. So when you have opposite rays, they create a straight angle, or they measure 180 degrees. So there's the four main types of angles and their definitions.